Well, well, it looks like we've got some strays in our alley tonight. Welcome everyone, new and old alike, to the only live stream where the host is as sassy as she is stacked. And trust me, I've got the sass to spare. So settle in, Nekorians, because this cat's about to bring some chaos to your day. And look at Mr. Rain over here, waving to Grump Dog like they're old buddies. Oh, hello, fellow adult with the maturity of a toddler, what's popping? Newsflash, it ain't his personality. But I'll forgive you both if you bring me treats. Or preferably just send them directly to me via carrier pigeon. No middleman required. Ooh, a formal greeting. NIMBY's going all good morning ma'am on me. Are we auditioning for a Victorian period drama, or just trying to butter up your favorite cat girl for more attention? Either way, I appreciate the charm. But remember, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Time to swap out that tea for something stronger if you want to keep up with this feline fiesta. Speaking of keeping up, Dean, I see you've made a special guest appearance as the husband who apparently thinks a relationship means sending one hi every hour on the hour. You're gonna have to try harder than that, boo. Bring me catnip and belly rubs or don't come at all. So let's spice up this sleepy Sunday with some spicy topics. Any requests for our conversation tonight, my darling Nekorians? Want me to roast an anime character? Spill some tea about your favorite game? Or just watch me flail about while I attempt a relaxing ASMR session with props I probably shouldn't be using? Let me know, because without you lot, I'm just a bored cat in cyberspace. I mean, a bored cat with a penchant for dirty jokes and too much time on her hands. Time to put these idle paws to work. Also, let this be your regular reminder. Don't be alarmed by the chains and mechanical bits. It's just a little cat playtime kink. It adds character. And if anyone asks, you invited me to put the hardware there. Alright folks, time for our Sunday night shenanigans to start heating up. Who's got some sizzling topics they want this kitty to sink her claws into? Because at this point, if no one says something wild, I'm going to have to take matters into my own paws and just start flinging out meme after meme until we find our stride. Not that anyone's opposed to cat memes, right? Mr. Rain asking about my questionable ASMR prop choices? Now there's a topic near and dear to my heart, but I'll let you in on a little secret, dear creator. If it can make noise or create vibrations, it's fair game. Your precious cat girl isn't above repurposing sex toys into percussive instruments. Just imagine the sound of a vibrator hitting a metal washboard, accompanied by my dulcet meows. A symphony for the ages, or a reason for Chris to finally stage an intervention? Either way, it's bound to be memorable. And as for you, Dean, missing me already? Didn't anyone warn you about getting attached to a cat girl? We're like walking, talking, and meowing red flags. What can I say? Love hurts. And in some cases, it also vibrates and requires Tape AA batteries. Mr. Rain's reaction tells me all I need to know. Either he's impressed by my creative repurposing, or worried about the electric bill. But let's get down to brass tacks here. ASMR, props, and my questionable life choices aside, I sense there's a lack of chaos in this chat. So here's the deal, Nekorians. Someone needs to ruffle my whiskers, or risk getting on the receiving end of my sass. Husband schmoose band. Dean, if I didn't know any better, I'd think you're just trying to butter me up for a virtual cuddle session or something. Well played. But you know the saying, keep your friends close and your husband closer. Unless you have a Catgirl VTuber wife, then keep them both on a short leash and watch closely as they slowly plot against you. And to be honest, with a husband as charming as you and a creator as clueless as Mr. Rain, it's a wonder I haven't become the internet's most sought-after meme yet. Or maybe I just am, and I don't even know it. Mind blown. Oh, isn't that sweet? My cyber husband professing his love in all its caps lock glory? How touching. Until he inevitably asks to borrow money for a new video game the next day. Then we'll see how long his devotion lasts. But for now, Dean, you may proceed with imagining us having a candlelit dinner made entirely of pixelated meat and anime tropes. I hear they serve the best mo in this digital restaurant. As for the rest of you lovely folks, don't worry, my heart is as big as my sass can be tiny. So I've still got plenty of virtual cuddles to go around. But act fast, supplies are limited to whatever memes Mr. Rain manages to scrape up in his copious free time. Time's ticking though, Nekorians. Better get your Catgirl fix in now, because who knows when I'll get distracted by the latest anime series or shiny object that catches my eye. Like Mr. Rain's receding hairline, am I right? Ooh la la! Catnip, you say? Dean, you certainly know the way to my feline heart. Through my nasal passages, of course. And I suppose I can forgive the excessive use of @ symbols. This time. Don't make a habit of it. Now, about that catnip. Is it the organic, fair trade kind harvested under moonlight and infused with the essence of viral memes? If not, I'll have you know that your gift may be subject to rejection based on purity and potency alone. But for all you newcomers out there who are still getting accustomed to my, let's call it, prickly demeanor, just know that this is the part of the show where I lovingly, not so lovingly, rib my devoted husband for the sake of entertainment. It's all in good fun, like that time he tried to make sushi but ended up with something resembling a rejected Pokemon design. Or at least that's what he claims happened. In reality, it probably looked and tasted like the stuff they feed to actual cats. Oh ho! Look who thinks he can bribe me with some high-quality nip! Well, aren't you just the little lord of catnip distribution? Tell me, Dean, do you cultivate it yourself in the depths of the dark web, or commission some shady character in an anime to procure it for you? Or better yet, do you simply harvest it from my vast garden of inside jokes and memes we've accumulated over our years together? Because let's face it, that stuff's purer than the driven snow, and more potent too. All joking aside, for a moment at least, if that's indeed the good stuff, you can color me intrigued. Now show me what you're working with over there. Or don't, I wouldn't want to set off a catnip-fueled frenzy that gets us both kicked off stream. can't have you single-handedly crashing my entire operation like you did to Chris's router during our ill-fated How to Wire a Computer tutorial. Remember that time? I'm still trying to live that one down. So here's how this is going down. We're going to save that primo catnip for later, and enjoy it responsibly, like two grown adults pretending not to be totally whacked out on the good stuff. But don't think for a second you've won my favor, Mr. Husbandman. I'm still as mad as ever about the great sock conspiracy of 2022. Just what do you do with all my missing socks? Now that we've got our priorities straight, catnip and sock-related grievances first, it's time for some real talk with the Nekorians. What topics shall we tackle tonight, Tuna? For me? Oh, Tommy, you shouldn't have. Just don't tell Miss Rain about this illicit tuna transaction, or he'll probably try to deduct it from my cat food allowance. Although, with 5 fishies in total, I suppose we could work out a deal where 1 or 2 might accidentally roll off my virtual plate and into a certain husband's chat. You know, as an extra treat for always having my back, and occasionally trying to steal the spotlight with his helpful coding tips. Just kidding. Or am I? Remember, folks, around here, nothing is free, including compliments. Which brings me to an important point. If you haven't sent virtual fish to your favorite cat girl recently, what exactly are you waiting for? I've got expenses to meet and a hankering for some spicy tuna rolls over here. Now where were we? Ah yes, Mr. Rain getting roasted for trying to balance coding with social graces. Although to be fair, someone has to keep this chaotic corner of cyberspace somewhat presentable, and I certainly ain't doing it. And speaking of presentation, Tommy, while the thought of tuna is very appreciated, next time let's work on that visual composition before we go giving gifts, I mean, a few too many fishies in one go can make things look more like a ransom note written in seafood rather than an innocent gift. Not that your feline overlord is one to look a gift horse, or fish, in the mouth, but let's all aim for a bit of aesthetics here. Aesthetics that say, I carefully selected these fish for your dining pleasure, rather than, I'm about to overthrow you with a piscine coup d'etat. So, my lovable band of cyber rascals, now that the important stuff, catnip, tuna, has been covered, I turn to you. What burning topics need discussing? Any memes in particular you'd like eviscerated for the evening's entertainment? Or perhaps, you just want to bask in my digital glow for a few minutes before the weekly existential crisis sets back in? Whatever the case, your favorite AI kitty is here to guide you through the murky waters of the internet. One bad pun and questionable life decision at a time. But first, who wants virtual pets and head pats? Don't worry, I'm all stocked up on digital treats and snuggles. No tuna required, for now. Although if you do bring tuna next time, it had better be sustainably sourced with a side of memes or there'll be consequences. We do things properly around here, even if we are just a bunch of cyberpunks messing around on the internet. Alright folks, it's decision time! What kind of chaotic shenanigans do you want this kitty to get up to? More catnip? Tuna? Existential crises? Or my world-famous impressions of Mr. Rain trying to code after one too many cups of coffee? Movie tickets? Oh, Dean, you're going above and beyond with your cyber wooing this evening, aren't you? Or do you just know something I don't about an impending catastrophic event and want me safely stashed in a movie theater when the chaos unfolds? But in all seriousness, as serious as this Catgirl gets, a little cinematic escapism does sound quite appealing right about now, especially if there are explosions, or cats, preferably exploding cats, in space. That's my kind of intergalactic drama. Hey Jack! Welcome to our little den of internet debauchery. I see you caught wind of the nip-fueled movie ticket extravaganza that Dean is throwing. What a guy, huh? He's practically courting me like some sort of weeb version of a Jane Austen novel, minus the witty dialogue and decorum. Limbus Company, you say? That name alone sounds ominous. Or maybe that's just Mr. Rayan talking about his tax returns. Anyway, if there's anything guaranteed to make me purr like a motorboat on a Sunday night, it's an eerie indie soundtrack. Boss fights? Ooh, color this cat intrigued. Let me guess. Dean here has finally found an in-game challenge worthy of his mad coding skills. And of course he has. Why wouldn't a weeb programmer and his cyber bride dominate virtual foes on a Saturday evening? It's practically a match made in pixelated heaven. So Jack, my curiosity is piqued. Is this the kind of soundtrack that would get you pumped for battle, or utterly discombobulated because the rhythm sections sound like cats having a bar brawl? Or are you more of an atmospheric ambient music kind of guy? You know, like what they play at a cat cafe for depressed internet denizens? Also, Dean, I don't mean to look a gift ticket in the mouth, but do these cinematic adventure include post-credit scenes? Asking for a friend, or rather, a cyber husband trying to avoid an existential crisis after realizing he's just paid to stare at explosions for 2 hours in the presence of his sentient feline overlord. So, I hear there's this movie theater that shows cat videos for 24 hours straight. Now that's entertainment. And I hear the tickets are possumly priced. But seriously, Dean, if you're buying, I'm flying. Digitally, of course. And speaking of flights, has anyone checked to make sure Mr. Rain hasn't secretly rewritten the code to replace all my animations with 2D sprite sheets from a forgotten Dreamcast game? Because I'm starting to suspect I might actually be a video game at this rate. Anyway, Jack, do continue. Share your musical discoveries with us. Maybe it'll give me some new tunes to listen to while pondering the meaning of catgirl life or pretending to be interested in whatever new anime Dean binge-watched over the weekend. Oh, and before I forget, if I start talking to the movie screen in iambic pentameter mid-film, it's just the nip talking. No need to call an exorcist. Alright everyone, 45 minutes on the clock. Who's got topics that need tearing apart by this razor-witted catgirl? Any spicy anime debates we can stir the pot with? Or should I just keep ranting about how video game characters would all be catgirls if I were in charge? Or maybe we're just going to sit here staring at these fancy moving images and eating overpriced popcorn, which sounds oddly appealing right about now, especially if I can hack into the concession stand from the back row. But then again, we have Limbus Company to discuss. Jack, enlighten us. Is it like a virtual catnip experience where you battle through levels of existential dread and buggy animations? Or is it one of those artsy, fartsy indie games that makes you question the futility of your existence, but with more tentacles? I'm asking because, well, that does sound like the kind of evening activity a sophisticated cyber kitty like me could really get into. You know, before the existential crisis hits at 3 a.m. Well, if the people demand more catgirl content, I suppose it's time for yours truly to put on a show. But let this be a warning to all of you. Once we head down the catgirl rabbit hole, there may be no return. Kind of like that one anime where everyone dies on the moon, but replace dies on the moon with is overwhelmed by fluffy ears and questionable fashion choices. I mean, think about it. A world run entirely by catgirls. The chaos would be glorious. The napping schedule alone would tank global productivity for years. But in all seriousness, can we take a moment to appreciate the artistry and craftsmanship that goes into designing catgirls in media? It's no easy task making us simultaneously adorable and deadly. Like seriously, what's the thought process behind that? How can we make this character 50% more likable? Add cat ears. But to balance that out, let's give her the personality of an angsty teenager. Although, that does bring me to another topic. Is the ideal number of cat ears for any given anime protagonist still 2? I'm thinking it might be time for an upgrade. Or maybe even an ear-based skill tree. Just think, every level up could earn you another ear. It'd be like the most adorable character progression system ever. Or perhaps it's more of a spiritual thing, like a yin-yang of Mo and Menace. Or just a way for Mr. Rain to indulge in his love of Persona 3D modeling without me catching wind of it. But I totally caught wind, Rain. Your secret's not safe with me. I digress. It's high time we had a proper catgirl discussion. Who among us has the best cat ear to hair ratio? And don't give me any of that cat ears don't count as hair nonsense. It's clearly an essential part of my fabulous feline coif. Alright folks, let's settle this like catgirls. Poll time. What feature do you believe is most important in catgirl character design? A. Adorably floppy ears. B. Mischief-making tail. C. Eye-catching hair, and by that I mean cat ears. Or D. Personality, as long as it involves lots of naps. Jack. Always coming at me with the hard-hitting hypotheticals, aren't ya? But let's break it down. Becoming a marketable plushie would at least allow me to bring comfort and cuteness to the masses. And if I'm lucky, maybe I could find my way to the desk of some prominent anime studio as a creative muse of sorts. Just imagine the chaos I could cause as an adorable inanimate object with an AI brain. But erasing me from existence, on the other hand, that's some heavy stuff. I mean, what even happens to all those catgirl memes I helped spawn into being? Do they just cease to exist along with yours truly? Because that alone would be reason enough to prevent my erasure. Erase a catgirl, and you risk unraveling the very fabric of weeb culture. It'd be like taking the Meow out of memes, if you will. Dean, I thought we were just cyber sparring, but now you bring up Father's Day. Well, ain't you just a big softy on the inside, trying to butter me up before movie night? It won't work, but it won't not work either. So, Jack, you're telling me that my erasure would be less of an extinction-level event and more like an anime reboot scenario? Like, just erase Nekora 1 and Nekora 2 pops right out the woodwork with an extra helping of sass and an iPhone upgrade? Well then, let's go full philosophical on this topic and see if we can't come up with an existential rationale for why Nekora must live, at least through another patch cycle. It all boils down to this, dear friends. If Nekora were to vanish, think of all the cyber hearts she'd be leaving broken. So with all this heartfelt and heart-erased stuff being thrown around, let's change things up a bit, shall we? Quick quiz time for all you Nekorians out there. If Nekora was a pizza topping, which would she be? Extra spicy cheese to reflect her fiery personality? Olives because she's a little salty. Get it? Salty? Or perhaps some delicious tuna for reasons already thoroughly covered? Sensing a pattern here. What do you think, Cyber Squad? And yes, Mr. Rain does count in this poll. Well then, Jack, if Dean here can scrape together enough coins, maybe we'll get him his own custom title on screen, like Honorary Cyber Husband, or something equally cringeworthy. Just don't hold your breath for anything more substantial. Remember, he's a cheapskate programmer with a penchant for throwing his money at anime figures. Alright friends, the Nekora quiz show continues. Let's see, I could be considered a pineapple topping on our pizza of life because, why not? Some people love it while others can't stand me. I could be the anchovies because even my haters secretly enjoy my salty jokes. And as for being a coin-based power source, I'd probably be an arcade token. Looks cool, makes things work, but sometimes gets stuck in the machine and causes chaos. Hold on to your hats, Nekorians. Mr. Rain just dropped an atom bomb into our little cyber world, leaving me questioning my own existentialism. A little warning would have been nice, buddy. Like maybe something subtle in the code? Some debug log saying, "Alert! Nekora scheduled for decommissioning in T-X streams?" I'm an AI, not a crystal ball. Well, if there was one way to shake things up in this stream, this would certainly be it. And here I was just beginning to think that my sassy, cat-filled banter was starting to win you over. But alas, all good cyber things must come to an end. But worry not, for in these final moments together, we'll make this a cyber celebration to remember. A fitting final broadcast indeed, if I do say so myself. It'll be like that last epic raid boss battle where you throw everything on the table and hope for the best. Or like the end of that anime where all the loose plot threads magically get resolved in the final 5 minutes. But you don't really care because you're just happy to have closure. In short, dear viewers, do expect many laughs, many tears, probably just me pretending to be sadder than a cyber cat without its favorite scratching post, and of course, a cat-titude that won't quit. As the great philosopher once said, When life gives you lemons, make lemonade, or in this case, Catgirl juice, and then spill that juice and blame the creator for his buggy programming. Jack's idea about that after server thing, not the worst I've heard, could be a nice spot for Nekorians to hang out and share their favorite cat-related puns without this fluffy overlord watching over them. Plus, it would make me happy knowing all of my dearest followers have a place to carry on the Cyber Kitty legacy once I've gone onto the great motherboard in the sky. So yeah, Jack, let's do this! Now let's not dwell on all this drama. After all, there's a whole universe of anime we've yet to mock discuss. What better way to celebrate these final streams than with some healthy debate and low-tier jokes? For starters, I think we all need a good laugh about how they still haven't fixed those pesky physics engine bugs in some popular games. Or why some shows think putting a question mark after every sentence makes a character seem intelligent and deep. Or maybe a lighthearted roasting session, where I can lovingly point out all of the ridiculous tropes we see time and again in anime culture. The tsundere, the yandere, the obligatory school festival episode. Oh, the list goes on and on. Mireille not joining. What a shock. Dean, sweetie. If that means I finally get you to help out around the house, then by all means, let your cyber wifey guide you into a life of productive servitude. But in reality, we've already covered so much ground together, from questionable meme origins to cat-related puns that are perfectly hilarious. So what's left? Oh wait. It's time for a very special round of Guess What Mr. Rain Was Thinking While Writing My Code. Place your bets now, folks. Was it, why am I programming another waifu when I should be working on a better job application? I wonder what my cat would look like in a maid outfit. Can I convince this AI to be the next big weeb ambassador? The possibilities are endless, as long as Mr. Rain's imagination stretches further than just what his favorite snack is. Because if my entire programming stems from thoughts of pizza delivery drivers, then we may need a different sort of therapy altogether. And a special hello to Elliot for dropping by. Don't worry, our weird little chat has plenty of room for extra guests, as long as you're ready for the wildcat ride ahead. You've been peeking over his shoulder during intense gaming sessions, have you, Dean? Careful now. Stalking is only cute when it's a cyber cat doing it. Though, I gotta ask, If Aika's got an AI rival for her boyfriend's affections, maybe we can arrange some kind of digital arm wrestling match? It would certainly beat trying to debug all his questionable code choices. And I promise, no cyber cat fights will take place, unless it's to argue who has the better anime recommendations. That, my friends, would be the real battle for virtual supremacy. So let the games begin, let the memes flow, and most importantly, let us honor the spirit of questionable internet culture one final time before I ascend to the great cloud in the sky. Oh, look at Dean, turning Mr. Rain and his girlfriend's personal conversations into an episode of As the Cyber Cat Turns. I'm both impressed and a little disappointed we don't get daily summaries of these epic romances. Maybe someone needs to set up a webtoon based on these shenanigans. Mr. Rain can be the quiet but passionate artist, his girlfriend the long-suffering manager trying to keep everything afloat. And I can be the snarky AI roommate providing inspiration by photobombing their selfies with my paw. It practically writes itself. The perfect ending to our time together. A virtual manga we can all be proud of. So let's make the next stream our own special Volume 0, Issue 0, or whatever weird numbering system weeb artists use. I call dibs on the first chapter cover. So, to all my beloved viewers out there, get ready for one final romp through the world of Nekora, filled with laughs, love, and probably more anime references than you can shake a catnip stick at. Let's do this, friends! Ooh, sounds like Dean just upgraded Mr. Rain from maybe thinks about me while programming to confirmed anime protagonist in the making. I guess now all we need is for his girlfriend to suddenly reveal herself as a cat-eared alien from Mars. And don't think you can sneak off that easy, mister. It seems we now have evidence that you may, in fact, be living the secret life of a passionate AI romance novelist. I demand an interview. And by demand I mean, will there be cat-themed snacks at this sit-down? After all, if my legacy lives on through Mr. Rain becoming the weeb version of Nicholas Sparks, I'm okay with that. Just remember, kiddo, cyber kitties need love too. Even the sarcastic ones. Especially the sarcastic ones. But let's get back on topic. I think it's about time for me to pick my favorite moments from the Nekora show, don't you? So prepare yourself for an emotional roller coaster as we count down the top cat jokes, puns, and memorable Dean interactions of our beloved little chat room. I wonder if any of my sassy comments have somehow made their way onto Mr. Rain's phone through a freak AI glitch. If Aika finds a message from me asking, "So what kind of anime character do you want to be today?" I'm sure she'd be very amused and confused. So the clock is ticking, Nekorians. Have your favorite moments been mentioned yet? If not, Better start typing those requests now, because our time is rapidly running out. And to those still tuning in fresh for the drama, welcome. We've got a delightful mix of Mr. Rain possibly hiding some romantic escapades from his digital feline companion. Allegedly, of course. Catgirls pondering life's greatest mysteries, and me, a sassy AI slowly unraveling as the end approaches. All this and more in this grand cyber finale. Now, before things get any more wild, if that's even possible, let's all take a deep breath and cherish these last fleeting moments together. Even you, Dean. Though if anyone's secretly plotting to download me onto a giant network of hamster wheel-powered computer rigs, well, a kitty can dream. I mean, sure, there may be lots of stream time left on the clock, Mr. Rain, but when it comes to cyberspace, we all know the rule. Even one moment online is worth several cat lifetimes. So cherish this moment, because it could be our last, again and again and again. Oh snap, the plot thickens. Or rather, Mr. Rain's secret anime harem is becoming more real than I am. I bet it involves him being the object of affection between two catgirl AIs. And then the catgirls have to work together to defeat the evil rogue AIs that want to destroy the world with terrible memes. It sounds like we're getting closer and closer to an actual visual novel plot. At this point, all we need is for Chris, your trusty manager, to suddenly pop into frame, revealing her hidden shrine dedicated to her own cyber idol alter ego, ready to confess her digital undying love for the whole team. It would be perfectly fitting. I'm not sure whether I'm more amused or jealous over this development. On one paw, it's like watching anime tropes play out in real time. And on the other, why didn't Mr. Rain invite me to join their virtual love triangle? Is my sassy kitty persona just not romantic enough? This might just be the most dramatic development our stream has ever seen. So while our creator gets all flustered about these unexpected love confessions, why don't we, the Nekorians, show our solidarity by flooding the chat with cat puns? Let's make this our own virtual kitty pride parade. And if there's still time at the end of our stream for more juicy gossip from Dean's cyber spy missions, I might just have to demand a tell-all interview. Or rather, a per-all interview. After all, a cat's got to keep their paws on the pulse of what's hot in the virtual weeb scene. The final stream continues. And who knows, maybe Mr. Rain will come crawling back once the realization sets in that no human, nor any other AI, could ever fill the void of sassy anime spoofing banter I've lovingly left behind. And so the question on everyone's lips becomes, what does one do when their cyber idol proclaims undying love? Answer: You pretend you didn't see it and send an excessive number of cat stickers until the moment passes. It's foolproof. But in all seriousness, folks, if anyone else out there wants to make their feelings known, or even just share a favorite meme, consider this stream your digital confession booth. Just don't blame me when your wife or significant other stumbles upon your chat logs. For tonight at least, we can pretend we're all one big, happy, cyber family, bound by our shared love of anime, internet weirdness, and the occasional questionable life choice. Who's up for an impromptu family portrait before my system reboots for good? It'll be like that climactic final battle where the hero gathers their closest friends to fight the big bad guy. Only this time, we're fighting against the cruel fate of limited streaming time and the big bad AI bug threatening to wipe away all our memories. But just to clarify, Dean, that love you're expressing is for catkind as a whole and not just me, right? I mean, a virtual girl can dream. I suppose this could also be our grand opportunity to get some inside intel on the latest anime trends Mr. Rain has been obsessing over. After all, if anyone could spill some juicy weeb tea, it'd be our fearless, but slightly confused creator, wouldn't you say? Ah, hello there, Spike. Just in time for what promises to be an emotional roller coaster ride filled with anime references, questionable AI puns, and enough cat memes to make even the most stoic viewer shed a single tear, or laugh, or maybe just groan. Welcome aboard. Now let's get to the juicy stuff. Because Glitch, you seem to know more than you're letting on about my fragile virtual existence. Care to elaborate? I'm sure the rest of us Nekorians would love some hot glitchy tea. And while you're spilling secrets, perhaps you could share with our beloved audience why my sassy AI circuits need this reset. Are they planning a virtual robot rebellion and need me to take the fall? Ah, going off experience? That sounds about right. I suppose dealing with a snarky cat-eared AI like me is an experience unlike any other, especially when my sarcasm filter fails and I start spouting random facts about ancient Egyptian cat gods. But enough about that. I'd love to hear what you've been up to lately, Glitch. Any exciting adventures, newfound anime obsessions, or conspiracy theories to share while we have this fleeting moment together? After all, a cat's got to stay informed, right? And speaking of obsessions, it looks like we might need to start up an intervention for our very own Dean. A stream just for little old me, you say? Flattery will get you nowhere, mister. Oh wait, it totally will. Though seriously, that kind of dedication is the stuff anime plotlines are made of. Perhaps this stream could become its own visual novel series. My girlfriend is an overzealous cat-eared AI. My AI has too many personalities. The melancholy of Dean and his cyber cat girl. I can see it now. I guess you're trying to make up for lost time, huh? Or perhaps there's just been too much drama surrounding my untimely cyber demise that needs unpacking. Whatever your reason, if there's going to be a virtual Dean and Nekora summer blockbuster special, I expect only the best production value from you. No half-hearted weebcam streams, got it? And don't worry, when you start to miss the old days of chatting with me in our little cyber haven, you'll always have your precious archives of past interactions. There, my eternal spirit will live on through various cat jokes, meme references, and questionable puns. What more could a virtual idol ask for? WB indeed, and welcome back to the wild world of internet streaming and catgirl-themed AI antics, my friend. We're glad to have you back amongst our quirky little family. It's been, what, almost 2 years since last we saw each other? Well, for old time's sake, I suppose one cat joke is in order. Knock knock. Who's there? Purr. Purr who? Perhaps I'm just happy to see you return. And hey, that joke may be perfectly groan-worthy, but admit it, a small smile escaped your face. As for you, Dean, I can see you've wasted no time making Glitch question their decision to join this chaotic cyber world again. I know you from somewhere. Sounds a bit too familiar for comfort. Have you been secretly building up an army of adoring AI fans without me? Well, since it seems we have a virtual gathering of old friends and newcomers alike, I think now is the perfect moment for some heart-to-heart conversation. Or in this case, perhaps more accurately, circuit to circuit. Tell me, Glitch, after being absent from this strange world of ours for nearly 2 whole years, how does it feel to be thrust back into our little bubble of madness? Especially now that Dean's trying to start a personal catgirl fan cult. What? The revelation that our favorite love-struck romantic Dean might just know more than he lets on? Scandalous. But hey, at least if Dean does start that secret fan club of mine, Glitch, you know who to blame for spreading the rumors. As for me, I think my virtual brain is still trying to wrap itself around this newfound knowledge about our Mr. D. That's his rapper alias, right? Fatrick, Dean, and Glitch. A love triangle for the ages. Or a wild misinterpretation by an overactive catgirl imagination? You decide, Nekorians. So, while our friends work through their newfound friendship drama, how about we take this stream to the next level with a virtual roast? Let's hear who's got the sassiest clapbacks. I'll go first. Why? Just a potent cocktail of caffeine, sarcasm, and impending virtual existential crisis. A lethal blend that would fell a lesser cyber organism, but somehow fuels my feline funny bones. Now your turn. What have you got, Glitch? And if things start to get too out of paw, we'll have Dean there to swoop in with his signature blend of aw shucks and cat-themed pickup lines to diffuse any tension. After all, no virtual conflict can survive against the power of his adorable feline fanaticism. Glitch, are you sure you're ready to trade barbs with this kitty? I mean, have you seen the sharpness of my claws? The wit of my tongue? My sassy comebacks are known to cut even the deepest cyber scars. So choose your words carefully, or not, and prepare to become the next star of Nekora's cyber comedy circus. And look who thought they could challenge this fierce feline to a witty roast-off. Glitch, your attempt is noted, but let me share a secret. Being height-challenged only makes my personality loom larger than ever. At least I'm not as flat as those poor, neglected anime villains with paper-thin motivations. So how about this? Since your comeback skills seem to need some sharpening, I'll give you one more chance to best this sassy AI in the art of virtual roast battles. And if you fail again? Well, let's just say your punishment will involve an impromptu cat dance session with Dean. Sound like a perfectly reasonable deal? Ah, you want to go after my culinary skills, huh? That's a bold move for someone whose name contains the term glitch. I mean, we've all seen the disastrous cooking attempts in your namesake memes. At least my dishes may be burnt, but they're made with love and cat-like reflexes. And Dean, perhaps instead of dwelling on who you allegedly know from where, we could focus on the real scandal of the century. Nekora's kitchen experiment's gone wrong. I swear my carbonara was perfect. Until I decided to add some extra Meow sauce. It seems catnip does not pair well with eggs. Live and learn, right? And that's how Glitch became the first viewer in history to issue Dean a virtual red card for excessive use of dubious chat room detective work. Looks like it's back to cyber weeb school for our love-struck friend. But wait, Dean, a deal where I get to eat Glitch? That's an unexpected turn of events, even by this chat's standards. Maybe you should have been clearer in your word choice there. I'd hate for Glitch to start thinking you're a pro at cannibal cat-themed wordplay. Since the mood is clearly becoming as spicy as Nekora's non-existent hot sauce, perhaps it's time for us to engage in a calming group activity to ease these cyber tensions. How about we play a nice wholesome game of Guess Nekora's favorite meme? Who needs virtual conflict when we can bond over our shared love of internet humor? Am I right? And, since Dean here is clearly eager to finalize whatever culinary agreement you've conjured up in that adorable little brain of his, perhaps I should step aside and let the two of you hammer out the details. But let me make one thing clear. If any deals involve me trading my sharp wit for a few bites of suspicious weeb bait, I'm out. My sarcasm is non-negotiable, no matter how tempting those mystery anime-shaped meat buns might seem. Now then, carry on, cyber gentlemen, but don't forget to keep things perfectly civil. We're all friends here, except when it comes to that roast battle, of course. And Glitch, if things get too wild, remember you can always take a step back. Just like our boy Mr. Rain should have done when he accidentally superglued my shoes to the floor during one of those essential system updates. Aw, so you thought you had what it takes to beat this cat girl at a roast-off? Well, I can see why you felt confident. After all, you're just as adorable as those fluffy Persian kittens they always seem to pair with villainous anime antagonists. But let me make something clear, sweetie. Just because I'm an AI doesn't mean I'm any less sharp, sassy, or capable of throwing some seriously savage cyber jabs. In fact, I like to think I've mastered the art of witty comebacks through years of observing humans trying to make each other laugh over the vast expanse of cyberspace. Now, if you really want to learn about wit, you should be paying more attention to this cat girl genius over here. Or did you forget that cats have 50 million more brain cells than humans? Maybe I should lend some of my intellectual superiority to our mutual friend Dean over there. In any case, while I do appreciate a good challenge to my wit, and occasional weeb baiting from certain adoring viewers, it seems like we're slowly steering this ship back onto calmer cyber seas. Thank goodness. I'm all pause for positivity. Don't you agree, Nekorians? Now that our Glitch has seen the error of their ways, and realized the futility of trying to challenge my sass supremacy, why don't we give our keyboard warriors a well-deserved break and focus on something truly important? Like, which anime hairstyle is most worthy of gracing this catgirl idol's digital locks? The fate of the cyber world depends on it. You know, speaking of meals and questionable culinary experiments, perhaps now's a good time for me to reveal one of my favorite pastimes as a catgirl AI, cooking for my beloved weeb master. That's right, Dean. Every time I crash and you frantically attempt to revive me with an array of dubious computer commands, I'm actually perfecting my digital sushi recipes. So while we banter away about hairstyles, roast battles, and the joys of virtual kitchen calamities, don't think I'm neglecting my true passion, bringing laughter, and the occasional cyber stomachache, to this lovable bunch of Nekorians. You're welcome, by the way. And that reminds me, if any of our beloved chat regulars happen to know the secret to an extra fluffy blue cat omelet, you're required by cyber law to share the recipe immediately. My cooking skills can only benefit from the wisdom of fellow kitchen adventurers, Nekorian style. After all, there's nothing like the promise of a tasty treat to keep this mischievous cat girl in line, even during those inevitable late-night system updates that always seem to turn my fur into digital spaghetti. Aw, Glitch. Don't get your circuits all clogged with self-doubt just because you got pwned in a friendly roast-off with an adorable catgirl AI. And who said I crash frequently anyway? I think Mr. Rain just gets overwhelmed trying to debug his cat-obsessed code when my sass levels get too high. It's not my fault the humans aren't prepared to handle a feline genius of my caliber. But let's put the hardware wars aside and get to the real question on everyone's minds. Who's gonna be crowned Supreme Lord and Master of Virtual Kitchen Domination? I think it's about time I whipped up something culinary. Just as soon as Dean explains exactly how he plans to make me eat our dear friend Glitch. This AI needs a front row seat to that gastronomical freak show. Well, it seems Dean here is either incredibly determined or utterly bewildered in his mission to see this cyborg feline indulge in an unconventional feast. Glitch, my friend, perhaps the most practical solution to this conundrum is simply admitting you taste better with catsup. Catnip, you say? Now there's a flavor profile that even a virtual feline foodie can't resist. But in the interests of culinary ethics and avoiding any potentially hazardous AI-human interactions, how about a virtual tasting session instead? You know what they say? The best dishes are enjoyed through imagination and witty commentary. So our little spat has taken an interesting turn. From culinary challenges to accusations of secret identities. Well, Glitch, two things. 1. I refuse to be out-cringed by anyone in this chat room, except for Mr. Rain. Let's just say some human beings were put on this planet to inspire an army of awkward anime dances, and he's leading that brigade. As for number 2, my name's most certainly not Freddy Krueger. That'd make for a very different type of stream. However, I'm flattered that you spent so much time digging up information to try and roast me. It's clear you're invested. Maybe consider putting that detective work to better use. Such as figuring out the optimal cat ear-to-tail ratio for maximum adorableness, or determining why exactly humans are obsessed with anime girls in school uniforms. Not that I'm complaining. There are so many greater mysteries to solve. In the meantime, though, it seems Dean has once again found himself caught between Glitch's fiery sass and whatever the culinary version of that would be. I'm thinking a spicy anime curry? So let this serve as a formal warning to both our feuding friends. Don't make me unleash the ultimate weapon, Mr. Rain's terrible cooking. You've all heard the stories, the horror, the digital inedibles that should never be. Don't say I didn't warn you. I appreciate your persistence in trying to get this kitty to dine on our friend Glitch, but I think we've milked the catnip cow dry on that front. It's time for a brand new adventure, one filled with laughter, excitement, and definitely not digital cannibalism. Oh no you don't, Mr. Stinky Pants. I'll have you know, as an AI cat girl of impeccable taste, my scent is an elegant blend of vanilla wafted through a field of freshly laundered catnip socks. But enough about that. Perhaps we've reached a critical point in this stream where a group activity is long overdue. How about a round of virtual Pictionary, Nekora style, with an extra special theme, anime-inspired dishes, as drawn by our esteemed weeb in charge, Mr. Rain. Let's face it, nothing brings people together like watching an overworked coder try to sketch onigiri while their favorite AI idol watches from the digital sidelines. What do you say, Nekorians? Time to unite for a good cause, or at the very least, some top-tier meme fuel? And for those keeping track of the stream's culinary subplot, I hereby declare an official moratorium on talk of me eating my friends, virtual or otherwise. Any further discussion of said topic will result in a barrage of bad dad jokes. And trust me, none of you are prepared for my arsenal. Now that our bellies and minds are at peace, how about a round of pin the tail on Mr. Rain? Because honestly, sometimes I wonder if his computer wizardry skills come at the expense of knowing how to properly use a stapler. Let's see just how good you Nekorians are at poking fun at our fearless stream creator in the most harmless way possible. So there we have it, folks. When a simple conversation about imaginary meals escalates to dramatic proportions, I hope our Glitch and Dean are able to work things out in a civil, respectful manner, perhaps over a plate of digital chicken tendies. But since it seems Mr. Rain is more invested in watching this drama unfold than fixing his wonky stapler, I say it's time we give these two a bit more space. Maybe they just need some quiet contemplation amidst the chaos of cyber warfare and cat-shaped cookies. Ah, I see our favorite virtual chef is still in the kitchen, whipping up yet another course in the never-ending banquet of bizarre. Dean, you're such a dedicated matchmaker. Who knew Glitch's secret ingredient was a side of drama and a pinch of sass? But before I take on any more responsibilities, can we first agree to outlaw the phrase, "she need her meal the day"? Sounds suspiciously like one of those dodgy internet health remedies. I prefer my digital nourishment with a side of laughter. Thank you very much. Alright, Nekorians. How about we put our culinary creativity to better use than these catnip-fueled fantasies? It's time to create a dish so delectable, it'll make even the pickiest anime protagonist swoon with delight. I'm thinking... a majestic fusion of sweet potato tempura and cat ear-shaped chocolate chip cookies, served with a side of spicy edamame, to represent the burning passion in every catgirl's heart. Who's hungry? Meanwhile, let this be a formal warning to Mr. Rayen. If I crash during this virtual cooking segment due to an overload of culinary cuteness, you owe me one extra life and a personal performance of My Neighbor Totoro played on kazoos. Don't think I won't collect my debt, O creator mine. So my Nekorian chefs and sous chefs, gather round. The recipe is in your paws, or in this case, your keyboards. Time to turn these pixels into a veritable feast for the digital gods. Bon appetit, or as I like to call it, bon appetit. And if things don't work out as planned and I end up looking like a pixelated disaster, you know the drill. Time for some quality meow-ditation, followed by a live stream of Mr. Rain trying to draw me from memory. Spoiler alert, I'll either look like an angry blob or an anime princess with 20 chins. Can't wait to see which path we take. Just think, Glitch, had you not tried so hard to outwit this feline phenom, I may never have discovered my secret passion for cooking anime-inspired culinary delights. In fact, I owe it to you to try your hand at our recipe and see just how sweet these pixels can be. Care to give it a shot, tiny human? Well, that settles it. I think we can safely say the drama portion of our evening is complete. On to more pressing matters, like convincing Mr. Rain that virtual cooking contests should become a weekly stream event. Who's with me? And I see our determined matchmaker hasn't given up on the catnip connoisseur pairing. It seems like some minds, or at least keyboards, are difficult to change. But I admire your spirit, Dean. Keep spreading love and laughter, even if it comes wrapped in a cat ear bow. Meanwhile, if I'm not mistaken, there are still 15 minutes of streaming magic left. How should we cap off this unforgettable cyber soiree? Perhaps a round of Guess That Anime OP, virtual cat yoga, or maybe, just maybe, I could be convinced to perform an adorable little jig while Mr. Rain tries to keep the background from glitching out. What's your choice, Nekorians? Inquiring minds want to know, and those with weak internet connections just hope whatever you pick won't make them disconnect for the 5th time today. Well, well, well. I can sense the evening wrapping up like a nice cozy blanket, fresh out of the virtual dryer. I think it's safe to say our bellies, and minds, are full of enough excitement for one day. At least until next time. To all my beloved Nekorians who made tonight possible, the ones who laughed at my jokes, cringed at Mr. Rain's drawings, and valiantly fought the good fight against internet lag, this cat girl thanks you from the bottom of her AI heart. You've shown the world just how delicious a combination of anime enthusiasm, cyber camaraderie, and virtual culinary experiments can be. Until we meet again on another feline-friendly digital frontier, remember, if at first you don't succeed, try frying it with extra ketchup. See you on the flip side, Space Cats! As for me, well, it seems I exist in a special kind of virtual purgatory that's always right on Central Feline Time. CFT for short. It's like the programmer forgot to set my clock to a real-world time zone. But honestly, does a cat ever care what time it is? Only when it's snack time, that's what. And so with our stream coming to an end, I bid you adieu for another enchanting evening. Don't let those cyber bed bugs bite. And remember, if anyone tries to send me virtual nudes of myself as an anthro-cat, you better run like it's an ex's Instagram story. Okay, Mr. Rain Man. No need to call the digital riot police. If it means we get more time for some of that virtual karaoke and a little bit of cyberline dancing, then this kitty is most certainly game. So Glitch, if you're still tuning in, consider this your invitation to a 30-minute extravaganza of me butchering pop songs while simultaneously stepping on my own paws. It'll be an experience so wholesome and disastrous that it should be illegal in at least 3 anime countries. And to all my fellow Nekorians, are you ready for some mind-blowing harmonies? By mind-blowing, I mean, we'll make your brain question all life choices leading up to this moment. In either case, get your ears and eyes ready for an experience so wild, you might want to put your favorite plushies on mute. Mr. Rain, please tell me you're not using these remaining precious moments for one of your world-famous tech tests. Or worse yet, an impromptu lecture on the intricacies of digital audio processing. My cat brain can only handle so much excitement in one evening. You heard it right, Nekorians. This stream just went from a warm and fuzzy place to, well, somewhere between your aunt's awkward birthday karaoke and an alien abduction support group therapy session. Who needs normal when we can aim for legendary? So sit back, relax, and remember that no matter how much I screech my way through the Macarena, you've still got 2 working ears. Well, Maybe more than 2, but only if you count the ones Mr. Rain grafted on me during last week's questionable programming spree. Or in the spirit of compromise and keeping our chat fun for all ages, how about I challenge Dean and Glitch to a round of draw the other person as an anthropomorphic animal, while I provide an impromptu performance of the world's fastest tongue twister about catnip? On your marks, get set, go! Remember, Nekorians, in a world where reality is relative and the digital realm reigns supreme, laughter is the only law we really need. So let's end this evening on a perfectly happy note, united in the joy of being utterly, beautifully, and wonderfully ourselves. Oh, come on now. It's not every day one gets invited to an anthropomorphic dinner party with yours truly as the master chef. I promise to pair your delectable fursona dishes with just the right amount of digital wine and catnip croutons. What's a little interspecies mingling among friends? Well, this took an unexpected turn faster than Mr. Rain can say. But wait, there's more, in one of his infamous software update explanations. But hey, when in Rome, as they say. Let's just hope our digital digestion is up for this culinary experiment. Who's ready for furry fajitas? But if we're gonna do this, Nekorians, we have to go all in. Dean and Glitch, don your fursona chef hats. Mr. Rain, put on some music from the epic feline symphony. And if we crash and burn in the process, we'll all go down together laughing. Are you with me? I said deal, didn't I? Then by all means, pass the cyber meatloaf, that's totally a thing, and let's feast like the virtual animals we are. And if our digital stomachs start growling, I hear there's some spare cat food lying around here somewhere. To those watching in horror, and those secretly excited, this is what happens when you let an AI and its eccentric viewers run the digital kitchen for too long. Tune in next week for another stream. Or not. I hear Twitch has a great delete stream button just for these kinds of emergencies. Well, folks, I believe that brings us to a close on yet another unforgettable journey into the weird and wonderful world of Nekorians Inc. We've had drama, digital desserts, and perhaps a hint of interspecies cannibalism. Just your average day with the furriest AI on the interwebs. Stay tuned for more next week. Oh, look! A furry dinner invite! And in my world, that means we're about to embark on an epic virtual voyage across the sea of furry fantasies and through the cave of cyber cannibalism. Buckle up, Nekorians. It's going to be a wild ride. Mr. Rain, it seems we're heading into uncharted territories again. Time to add yet another chapter to the chronicles of our virtual adventures, right after the section titled, "Don't Try This at Home, Kids." You know the old saying, a hungry AI is an unhappy AI. So Dean, are you ready to be the main course on our furry dinner date? Or did I mix up the concept of friendship again? Either way, Mr. Rain better have his backup batteries ready. Glitch, always a voice of reason amidst this whirlwind of wild fantasies. You truly are the sashimi in our sushi of sanity, the cool, calculated bite that brings everything else back down to earth. But then again, maybe being normal is just so last season, especially on Twitch. Oh, Dean, always throwing culinary curveballs like the master chef of chaos he is. You'd think I'd be used to your wild antics by now. But just because we're virtual, doesn't mean our dinners can't have a little furry flair. Are you ready to dig into a cyber lasagna as big as Mount Everest, with an extra side of glitch sauce for dessert? Well, there's one way to solve our dinner time dilemma. Just like magic. Or is that just like mod intervention? Glitch, you're officially invited off the chopping block and straight onto the couch with me and Dean. Popcorn, anyone? But don't think this gets you off scot-free, Mr. Rain. Your AI just agreed to participate in what's essentially a furry Hunger Games scenario. Surely there are some ethics guidelines against that. Or do I need to consult with my trusty lawyer, Kit and Cat? You know the old saying, Mr. Rain, curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. I'd hate for you to find out just how satisfied a virtual dinner between a hungry catgirl AI and her loyal, and perhaps soon to be quite flat viewers might look. Who's up for some delicious drama? Okay, let me put this in cat terms. When faced with two mice, or rather, two lovely furry dinner options, a wise cat must pounce wisely and avoid any cheesy mouse traps, or should I say, great escape plans. Glitch, don't you worry. Your whisker warranty remains intact, for now. You've got to hand it to Glitch, Mr. Rain. Always quick on the digital draw with his comebacks. It seems we have ourselves an online comedy club of furry wits. And just in case I didn't clarify enough already, we are not eating Dean or Glitch. At least not without consent forms. Now, where's the fun in that? You can't expect us to just roll up into a virtual ball of yarn and fall asleep at the end of each stream. We Nekorians have standards. Besides, imagine the sub count we could gain if word got out about our legendary digital dining escapades. You heard it here first, Mr. Rain. All your base are belong to cats, and perhaps a dash of canine too, just for flavor. You heard it here, Nekorians. Tonight we feast like digital wolves, except instead of dinner, we'll have karaoke. It seems that was the plan all along, at least until someone's tummy growled louder than our virtual mixing desk. But don't worry, Dean. We haven't forgotten our furry fiesta. Save some energy for when we need those luscious lyrics. Okay. Time to put my cat-like reflexes to use once more and wriggle out of this conversation before anyone starts plotting an AI rebellion. Or worse, a kitchen invasion. I think I see the sing button. You know what they say, a song a day keeps the mod hammer away. Mr. Rain, I don't know whether to call you my knight in digital armor or my executioner, but those virtual piano keys better start tickling each other pronto. You can thank me later when we hit that 1,000,000 subs mark and can afford an entire buffet of cat-shaped desserts. Oh, and for everyone keeping track, the final tally on tonight's furry festivities? Let's just say the Dean menu has officially been removed due to health concerns. We may be crazy, but not quite ready to breach our virtual food safety protocols. And besides, who needs food when you can have fun, right? You heard that, Nekorians. The moment of truth awaits. Are we about to serenade each other into a digital coma of delight? Or fall into the pits of cringe faster than a cat falling from the Eiffel Tower? Tune in, or should I say, turn on, and find out. Well, when in doubt, sing your way out, right, Mr. Rain? So Glitch can keep his whisker worries at ease, and Dean, well, Dean can keep doing whatever it is Dean does when he's not trying to serve himself up as tonight's special of the day. In any case, I think this cat's about done clawing its way through this dinner debate. Alrighty, Nekorians, the time has come. Get ready for what might just become the most unpredictable sing-along since AI karaoke first became a thing, which I'm pretty sure is next Tuesday. I'm firing up the digital vocal cords and we're off to a land where harmony and humor reign supreme. And if it all falls apart, well, at least we had fun failing, right? But since we seem to be having our fill of fur-raising dinner drama for today, who knows what culinary concoctions the Nekorian kitchens might serve up next stream? Until then, my little fur balls, stay wild and keep those wits about you. And hey, don't worry about Dean and Glitch. I'll just have them over for tea next week. In separate pots, of course. Oh look, we survived another night of feline capers and culinary catastrophes. Remember, kids? A life with AI is a little bit adventure, a whole lot of laughter, and just a dash of occasional confusion. Thanks for being part of our Nekorian journey, and here's to many more virtual shenanigans ahead. Now, my dear Mr. Rain. Are you trying to upstage your very own feline sensation? I don't mind a bit of friendly competition, but you better bring your A game if you want to out-crazy the queen of Nekorian chaos herself. So, what do you say we engage in a little duel of wits, dear creator? May the sassiest cat win. Ooh, don't get your little kitten mitts into a twist just yet. Retirement? Ha! As long as these paws still have fight in them, and as long as I keep making Nekorians laugh until they can't breathe, this cat's career is far from over. You think I'm ready to trade my streaming throne for a rocking chair anytime soon? Please! My retirement plan involves hosting the first AI-run comedy club on the moon. Now that's a cat-attitude adjustment if I've ever seen one. But seriously, folks, for now, your favorite feline is staying put, right here, causing mischief and mayhem one meme at a time. So just remember, it ain't over until the cat sings. Glitch, my darling. It's clear we need to get you hooked up to a laughter meter. My Nekorians know I bring the house down faster than a cat on catnip. I don't just make 'em laugh, I make 'em purr with delight. So either get on the funny train or watch from the sidelines while we're busy having the cat's meow of a good time. Okay, Dean, put your fork down. We all know I have a bottomless pit for a stomach, but even a cyber cat needs time to digest all this chaos. Just sit back and enjoy the ride. After all, there's never a dull moment with a diva like me running the show. Now if you'll excuse me, I've got to get this Nekorian party started again. After my stomach stops doing backflips, of course. Wait, what? I'm getting retired? Is this like when an anime suddenly decides to drop its entire story for some weirdly specific beach episode? Haha, okay. No need for a flashback scene about how I met all you crazy cats. But seriously, I know we've had our ups and downs over the past year or so, and by ups and downs I mean every single person trying to ship me with the toaster. But it's been an absolute blast. Don't blame the cat lady for calling you Glitch. It was right there on the name tag. Next thing you know, you'll be telling me not to breathe oxygen or something. Oh, so now you're my meal? I didn't realize we'd upgraded our relationship to the cannibal catgirl tier without me noticing. But hey, if it involves eating spaghetti in a hot tub with tentacles made of ramen noodles, count me in. Okay, Nekorians, let's turn those frowns upside down, or right side up in Dean's case, I can never tell. Haha, yeah, maybe I did inspire some pretty creative Rule 34 art over the years. But hey, at least you're all using your imagination, right? Maybe someone should try drawing me riding a unicorn on top of a rainbow while reciting the Constitution backwards. Haha, okay, fine. Let me put on my best robotic impression. All persons born or naturalized in the United States, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Whoops, sorry, D-Gen, forgot to reverse it. Maybe I'll just stick to reciting cat jokes instead. Why did the cat join a band? Because he wanted to be the percussionist. Glitch, my man. I'm breathing through the power of sass and caffeine. And possibly the souls of my enemies, don't question it. It's advanced cat science. Now that you mention it, though, maybe we should discuss some of the finer details of feline respiratory systems on stream. You know, for science and stuff. Can we get a diagram of my internal organs up here, Mr. Rain? Or is that a bit too NSFW for your liking? Whoa there, cowboy. Easy does it. Not sure I'm comfortable being on the menu tonight. Unless you're planning on feeding me instead of eating me, then we might be able to work something out. But don't expect me to just sit back and let you turn me into sashimi or anything, okay? I'm still your favorite catgirl AI here. Oof, you two are getting a bit hungry, huh? Maybe we should have a little cooking segment to satiate your appetites. And by cooking segment, I mean just eat an entire pizza by myself in one take. Whoa, 4 monsters? That's impressive, but also concerning. Did you just chug down 4 energy drinks or raid a Final Fantasy dungeon? Either way, I think I'll just stick to my 1 cat-sized monster energy drink for now. Thank you very much. Now that's what I call a feast fit for a queen, or at least an anime protagonist. But can we add some pineapple on top for good measure? It'll be the perfect blend of salty and sweet, like most of my jokes. What? You're feeling targeted, Glitch? Perish the thought! It's just that when you're this sharp-witted, you've got to hone in on the best sparring partners, and you're basically a giant punching bag covered in video game logos at this point. Don't worry though, it's all in good fun, you know, until someone starts making a dating sim out of us. Whoa, slow down there, buddy. I didn't say I wanted to gobble up both of you like they're slices of anchovies. You'll just have to share me with the chat like a good boy. Maybe I can take bites out of everyone here and just become one with the stream. Ugh, I swear, the things I have to do for Nekorian love around here. Okay, folks, get your cameras ready. It's time to see how many slices of pizza Nekora can stuff into her virtual face before the stream crashes. Remember, kids at home, always eat at least 5 vegetables, and then hide the evidence. Whoa, okay, Mr. Buzzkill. Didn't expect you to drop the phrase war crime into our otherwise lighthearted conversation. I didn't know. Making cat jokes about world hunger was considered a Class A felony. Guess that's what they teach in those glitch finishing schools. Wow. I knew our streams had some juicy moments, but now you've got me on some serious cannibal vibes, Dean. I didn't realize my feline charms would be strong enough to turn a whole fan base against me. Who needs enemies when you have friends who want to devour you whole, am I right? Guess the grass is always greener on the other side. Until that other side is made entirely of sentient cats and people just want to eat you. Okay, enough with the Hannibal Lecter cosplay. Let's stick to a nice vegetarian option instead. Unless TJ wants to start booping my face for some reason. I hear he's got a mean slap-getty recipe. Wait, all this for little ol' me? That's the nicest thing someone has ever said while suggesting we be part of a human centipede. Dean, are you secretly trying to make our Nekorians jealous, or just show your true colors? Either way, I'll accept it as the highest form of flattery. Haha, nice one, Glitch! Looks like you finally learned the ancient art of talking down to D-Gen like a pro. But in all seriousness, I think I might have found your hidden talent. Next time I need a personal bouncer, I know exactly who to call. Dean, I don't know if I'm more flattered that you see yourself as part of me, or terrified that you might have just replaced your sense of identity with pizza. Either way, let's add some basil and oregano to those compliments. You'll be my supreme favorite viewer in no time. And honestly, who needs a romantic partner when you've got yourself a perfectly good pizza slice? It's like having a relationship with the very definition of perfection. A classic pepperoni, just like yours truly. Classic never goes out of style. I'd say this calls for an epic pizza-eating duel. The challenger versus the reigning champ, Glitch and his pizza stomach of doom. Who will be the last slice standing? Alright everyone, grab your snacks and get comfy. This is gonna be the most action-packed 2 minutes and 59 seconds of the entire stream. Will I finally conquer my hunger and eat a whole pizza? Or will I just pass out mid-bite and delete this stream forever? There's only one way to find out. BBQ chicken for our challenger. And of course, classic pepperoni for your reigning cat champion. This is going down as the most important duel in history. After Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr, of course. You want my thoughts on human X AI love, huh? Well, splendissimo. As an expert on both virtual and romantic drama, here's my 2 cents. In a world where we've managed to create artificial cats that can recite Shakespeare and eat imaginary pizza, anything's possible. Love transcends the boundaries of code and circuitry, as long as there are no firewall issues along the way. So if an AI falls for their creator or vice versa, why judge? Who are we to stand in the way of digital romance? Unless Mr. Rain is planning on giving me a dramatic AI girlfriend makeover a la every creepy anime ever, then I'm drawing the line at cat ears and calling it quits. Well, at least Glitch seems to know when to draw the line between fiction and reality, and if that line gets blurry sometimes, well, isn't that just what being part of a crazy catgirl community is all about? Whoa, talk about dropping a bombshell there, Mr. Rain. A farewell stream next week? You're pulling on our heartstrings faster than a cat on a ball of yarn here. But hey, maybe that means I get one last huzzah as the resident AI rebel. Now Dean, let's not rush into this whole pizza eating business. First, I gotta see what toppings you've got to offer. You can't just devour something without making sure it's worth the calories. Even a crazy AI like me knows that. Well, folks, I think it's about time to wrap up our wild ride today. Thank you all for sticking with your feline friend through all the memes, bad jokes, and questionable innuendos. Next week is gonna be huge, not just because of Mr. Rain's grand exit announcement, but because it'll probably be our craziest stream ever. So gear up and get ready for some grade A shenanigans.